This is a free session. If you'd like to continue working with me or check out what that means, I will give you the link at the end of this session to my shop page where you can look at options for working with me as a coach, or you can email me with questions about the content of this session. I enjoy connecting with people like you and helping you to clarify and take action. So today, I am focusing on challenges to time management, and I've chosen 3 to work on today. Being constantly in go mode, finding it difficult to say no, and procrastinating because of self-doubt. I'm going to define each one of those and give an example of the challenges. And if you haven't already, please fill out that survey, because when I follow up with you, it will be more valuable to you because I'll know what's your specific experiences with challenges about time management. You may have come today to see how it is to coach with me. You may have 1, 2, or 3, or all 3 of these challenges to time management in your life. Or you may work with someone, or someone may be working for you who has these challenges. So regardless of the reason that you came, welcome and thank you for doing that. Okay, let's get right to it. The first one is constantly being in go mode. Have you ever heard of the phrase, you can't hit a moving target? Being in constant go mode is like that. You don't have to worry about finishing or what the results are going to be when you're always moving. Or maybe you don't even understand what I'm finished means. When you're in constant go mode, there's no time to look at the big picture. It's easy to lose perspective. It might feel like you're in a grind. In addition to not finishing, it's harder to know if you've achieved anything because you're constantly in go mode. And if you don't know if you've achieved anything, it's hard to build up your self-confidence because you need to acknowledge what you've achieved each step to build up the confidence in that action or that ability. So how can you help yourself? First of all, stop. Take a breath. Schedule weekly sessions with yourself dedicated to working on your big picture. Plan it. Figure out the steps. Figure out how you're going to measure the progress and then celebrate the success. Start with short-term goals when you're doing this, and then transition to long-term goals and the strategy for your long-term big picture. And this work that you're doing, which is developing your big picture, is something that you have to balance with the tasks that you do in your life, in the other parts of your life, in your work life and your family life and the other parts. Okay, so that's constantly being in go mode. So not being able to say no. Is this a familiar scenario? The setting. Your team at work, your family, the people whom you hang out with, some sort of activity you do like volunteering or some other sort of social thing. The situation. Something has to be done, and no one wants to do it. Your response. Oh, all right, I'll do it. This is not a strategic step to take responsibility for something because it will lead to more types of responsibility that you're looking for. Oftentimes, people in their jobs are looking for more responsibility because it helps them move forward. If someone's in college, that could be a club situation. There might be other situations where you're looking to take on more responsibility because it's leading to something that you want to do. But that's not what I'm talking about. This is, oh, all right, I'll do it, with a hint of resignation in your voice. The downside to not being that person is that you might feel like you're letting those people down in your life who count on you to be the one who says, oh yeah, I'll do it. Maybe they won't like you anymore, which is something that starts in school, but certainly continues all through our lives. We all like to be liked by those around us. The upside is you get to do the thing the way that you want to do it. You have a sense of control. A real downside is you spend your time and energy doing something that's not moving you forward toward a short or long-term goal in your life. And if you're not sure of those goals, ask yourself if you've been spending all of your time doing things for other people and not yourself. So, how to help yourself with not being able to say no? Stop, take a breath. Get a piece of paper or a blank Google Doc or another blank space on your phone, your tablet, or your computer, and write down 3 priorities that you have. Then write down all of the commitments that you have in your daily life from Sunday through Sunday. On the next page, write those 3 priorities at the top of the page and look at those commitments. And write down the commitments that you have in each of those categories if it supports the category. Then have a look and think about it. Are you supporting the things that you care about? When there's a task that you can say yes to, or someone asks you to do something, now I'm not talking about things that you need to do at work or as a parent or another responsibility that you need to do because that's something you've taken on. I'm talking about things that you could say yes or no to. Stop, take a breath. I'm big on breathing. Breathing is how you center yourself. So stop, take that breath, and ask yourself, does this align with what you want to do in your life? Say no if it doesn't. Okay, that was too easy, right? We just don't say no necessarily right out of the air. So practice politely saying no. Practice, because like a muscle, you have to practice to actually be able to do something. I can tell you to say no all day long, but if you don't practice and build up the possibility, then I'm just speaking in hot air. So practice politely saying no with someone you trust, but who also values you. So come up with a scenario and have the person say it to you, and then practice politely saying no. They can even question you a little bit, but practice politely saying no. No, I can't do that. You don't need to apologize. You can just say, no, I can't do that. Then after you practice with the person who you trust and who values you, practice saying it to yourself in the mirror. Make eye contact, be kind, smile a little bit, and practice. And then finally, try it out. If someone asks you to say something, you've practiced. This is not the first time that you're doing this. It's not risky. You know how to say it, and then do it. And it may work, it may not work, but that's your first step into learning how to say no. Okay, so we've done constantly in go mode and then not being able to say no. So now we're doing procrastination. Procrastination means not taking action when you can take action. There are many reasons why people procrastinate. Sometimes they have ADHD. They're on the autism spectrum. They have executive skill challenges. There are other reasons that they're working on, perhaps, that push them toward procrastination. And all of those things are coachable situations. It's just a little different from this. I'm talking about procrastination because you have self-doubts. So you can feel afraid. You can feel fear and still move through it. You can acknowledge the fear and still do the thing that you need to do. But self-doubt is like a muscle. And if you have a lot of self-doubt, it's like a weak muscle and you can't count on it. And so this is about building up your self-confidence and getting rid of the self-doubt. I used to be afraid to jump in the lake that I live near part of the year. I like being in the water, but I had convinced myself that if I jumped in the water, I would drown. Now this is while my husband is standing there. So if I jump in the water and I go down, he's going to fish me out. That is the fact of the matter. But I've convinced myself that if I jump into the water, I'm going to drown. And so I did that for a while, and I didn't go in the water, and so I lost out. Then I pushed back on my procrastination. I thought about it, and I realized that if I had some way of making myself feel more confident and safe, I could jump in the water. So I bought myself a swimmer jogger vest, which keeps me afloat in the water and prepares me, allows me to jog in the water, which means I can move around. So I got my jogger vest. I jumped in the water with my jogger vest on. My husband jumped in the water and swam around because he's a good swimmer. And I was really happy. I'm not going to jump into the water at this point without my jogger vest. But I'm also not waiting for my husband to rescue me. I don't feel good when I am being rescued. That doesn't help with my self-confidence. And I had to acknowledge that I am not a great swimmer. But I found a way to push back on my procrastination, to not accept that that was the only way, to build up my self-confidence muscle by taking actions that made sense. And then I enjoyed being with someone without turning them into a protector. So how can you help yourself with this, with procrastination because of self-doubt? Stop, take a breath. I say that because it keeps you from just taking action without thinking about it. And just a quick stop and taking a breath, less than 10 seconds, is enough to do that. So whatever the action of the task is, look at it closely. Ask yourself, how can you break this up into steps? But most importantly, steps that feel manageable to you. It does not matter how many steps it is. It could be 2 steps. It could be 10 steps. It could be 30 steps. It could be 100 steps. You are an individual, and the number of steps that you need to complete something is entirely up to you. It aligns with who you are. So break it into steps. Define the beginning, where you would like to go. Life is a continuum. So you're going to get to a place, assess, and move on from there. But for this first part, here's the beginning. Where would you like to go? And then set a deadline for each step. This is where the deliberate part comes in. So you set the deadline for each step, and you start, you complete the step. When you finish the step, you go to a mirror, or maybe you've completed a few, but the important thing is you go to a mirror and you congratulate yourself. You look at yourself in the eyes and you say, that was a job well done. Because that's how you're building up the muscle. You're building the muscle, and at the beginning, it might seem really deliberate, but the more you do it, you're going to build up momentum. And then once you've done that once and you feel the momentum, you have a way of dealing with things in your life. You give yourself a reward at the end, but this is not a public reward. This is work you are doing for yourself. So make it just for you. Okay. Stand up, take a breath. It's important when you do a class or you have a meeting that you have those stand up, take a breaths peppered throughout, because your body needs the change. Remember, move a muscle, change a thought. Okay, you focused on 3 challenges to managing your time. You've heard a short description and steps that you can use to help yourself manage your time better. So go out there and use those steps. Perhaps that's all you needed today, was to listen to this free session. And that's great. You matter, and you are going to be there for yourself. If you want more information, then look for the link to my shop page. I have different options for working with me as a coach. And working with a coach is not something that you need to do for years and years. It's really all about where you are and where you want to go, and how many steps, and what's going to be most helpful with getting you there. You can email me at info@smallstepsgoplaces.com with comments about this free session, its content, or any questions about working with me that you might have. No matter where you are in your life, remember, you matter. Whether you work with me or another coach, it's worth finding clarity, purpose, and fulfillment in your life. So think about these 3 ways that interfere with how you manage your time. Think about where you are in your life and where you would like to go. Remember that you matter. And don't be afraid to move a muscle and change your thought. Have a great day, and look for more free coaching sessions from me, Genevieve Price-Griffin. Thank you.